I was a senior in high school, and I was kicked in the butt by love. There was this girl, she was a junior, and as soon as I saw her, I knew that she was the one. Everything about her, it's just I could see her and my heart would start racing a little faster, and she would talk to me, and every now and then I'd get a word out that all she'd have to do is look in my direction, and that was enough for me. That a smile from her, and it'd make my whole month, let alone my whole year. And so I believe that I truly was in love with this girl, or at least some sort of infatuation with her. She was everything to me. But I was not all that to her. I was the friend she would come to tell me about all of her boy problems. So I was her guy friend that she could bounce stuff off of. And it wasn't a few boys, you know, she'd come and tell me all these issues. But I always wanted to be that one for her. And I did everything possible. I mean, I'd write her notes, I'd send her these spontaneous gifts, or send her flowers, or whatever I could do. Just these subtle hints I'd be dropping left and right, about as subtle as a hurricane, right in front of her, trying to get her attention. And just, it was always, can I talk to you for a minute? Yes, yes, let's talk. Because I got a problem with this guy. And then my countenance would drop once again. And I remember for half of that year, just pining for her. Just thinking about how great my life would be the moment she finally realized how great I was, and she'd leave all those others, and she'd finally come to me. Now, years later, I had already graduated from college, and my sister was still in college, and this girl happened to be at the same college as she. And I went up for a visit, and we were at a party, and after the party, you know, we just gathered in this dorm area, we're talking and hashing over things. And here she walks in. And she had had a little bit to drink. And she came over, and she put her arms around me. And she's like, you know, do you want to go out somewhere? All these years, I had waited for her just to look at me. Just to speak to me about us, as opposed to somebody else. And here was the one opportunity. She came up, and it was drunk love. And I said no. I mean, who wants that? That's like, it's not the real thing, it's not sincere, it's not legit. What I want to talk about tonight is what I think I experienced at that point, and I think many people have at some point in their life. Something called unrequited love. Unrequited love. John Paul II talks about this. Actually, it's going to be Blessed John Paul II. Speaks about this in his book, Love and Responsibility. He says this: the way from one person to another leads through the free will, through a commitment of the will. This way may be a one-way street, and the love of one person for the other will then be one-sided. This is called unrequited love, which, as everyone knows, is fraught with pain and suffering. I need to understand how it feels that you love this person, and you know how perfect your life would be if this other person were a part of it. And you think how perfect you would be for them, and how good you would be for them, and how happy the two of you could be together. And they just look at you, and it changes your whole day. They'll send you a note, and it just lifts your spirit. Everything they do has a necessary impact on the person that you are. But they don't return that love. What a terrible tragedy. And John Paul II goes on to say, it's one of the great tragedies of our time. And he's talking about a sincere love here. He's not talking about lust. He's talking about a sincere love of a person. So you can imagine the feeling of abandonment, the feeling of loneliness, the feeling of seeming separation from happiness. And if you've never experienced this, and I pray you haven't, To be able to at least imagine what that would be like, where you are putting yourself forward, you love someone that you will never be able to have. Someone who will never return that same kind of love. I think sometimes that is the love that God has for us. It is an unrequited love. Now bear with me for just a second. To think about this. An unrequited love. So it's when I love someone, but they see me as an annoyance. Or maybe I'm too needy. Or they don't like having me around too much. Or even when I am around them, they don't want to talk to me. Or they don't talk to me. I'm investing myself in this relationship and they are not returning that. And so I feel jaded or I feel resentful. Or at worst, I hate myself because I don't think I'm worthy of anyone. That's the feeling of someone who offers this unrequited love. And I imagine many times that is how our Lord feels. That He offers this investment of Himself to a creature who does not deserve it. That He offers His whole self, so much so that He gives us Himself in the Eucharist. He offers this to us in completeness, and we don't have time for it. Or at very most we think, He's an annoyance. Why do I have to go to Mass every Sunday? Why do I have to go to confession? Why do I have to participate in these sacraments? As opposed to saying, oh, my God offers me these things. And He doesn't have to. That He needs nothing from me. Nothing. There is nothing that I can provide for our God that He can't provide for Himself, except a love that is offered back to Him. That's the difference. Listen to what St. Paul says. He says, let no one boast about human beings, for everything belongs to you, Lord. All belong to you, and you to Christ, and Christ to God. The psalm today, the psalm response, is all about the chesed of God. Chesed is the Hebrew word for His loving mercy, which is eternal and infinite, constantly giving. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, it is about an unrequited love. A love that is offered to the lover. But we don't have time. Or we have others who are more attractive. Or at best, sometimes we offer Him what she offered me, her drunk love. That when we're feeling good about ourselves, or we don't have any other worries, then we can offer God what we want. Or perhaps when we need something from Him that we cannot provide for ourselves, it's like that friend that we contact when we need something, and that's the only time. It is an unrequited love. Now is a great time, we have a few weeks before Lent, to examine our lives and ask myself, is my love unreturned? Is God offering me all of this, and do I not give Him the time of day? Do I not pray as I should, or participate in the sacraments as I should? Do I not offer everything that I have, knowing that it's not mine to begin with, that it's simply entrusted to me? Is my love for God a self-sacrificing love? Or perhaps is it, God forbid, one that is unrequited?